Percentages. Use the diagram to find the percentage shaded. What is it? A number or ratio expressed as a fraction of 100, or number of parts out of 100. Why? Another way to write fractions with a denominator of 100. Interesting fact. Horses can sleep both lying down and standing up. So let's go ahead and talk about the steps. Step 1, count the completed columns or rows. Step 2, count the individual squares that are left. Step 3, write the fraction. Step 4, convert to percent. Let's go ahead and read the first question. What percentage of the diagram is shaded? As you can see, there are 100 individual squares inside the one big one. Okay, so the reason why the numbers are written there is so we can do this question a little bit easier and so you can understand the process behind it. But the next ones, they will not have it because the majority of the times you will not see the numbers in the squares when you see the examples. So let's go ahead and get started. Step 1, count the completed column. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we know that is 60 because each column is 10. So 6 times 10 is 60. And we can see that we have, and or count, that there are 5 individual squares that are shaded. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and write the fraction, which is the shaded over the total. And we know that we have 65 shaded because the 5 individual squares plus the 60 from the columns that are completed. So now in the total is 100. So now we're going to use the percentage definition, a number of parts out of 100. So instead of writing out number of parts, we can just write 65 because that's the amount that is shaded. So let's go, and then instead of writing out of 100, we can use the percent sign to write 65%. So let's take a look at example 2. What percentage of the diagram is shaded? We're still doing completed columns this time. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is 40 because each column is 10. So 4 times 10 is 40. And then let's go ahead and count the individual squares. 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to write the fraction, which is the amount of shaded over the total. And that is 3 plus the 40, which is 43. And the total is 100. Now we're going to use the definition. So instead of writing number of parts, we write 43 because that's the amount that we have counted to be shaded. And instead of writing out of 100, we can just use the percent sign to write 43%. That next example, what percentage of the diagram is shaded? This time, we're going to go ahead and count the number of rows. So we're going to start from the bottom. We got 1 and 2. We know that is 20 because each row has 10 in it. And now we're just going to go ahead and count the individual squares that are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now let's begin the process to write the fraction, which is shaded over total. And now we know that we have 8 individual squares plus the 2 columns, which gives us 20. And we add those two numbers together and we get 28 over 100. Now we're going to use the definition to write out the percentage. So we get, instead of writing number of parts, we write 28. Instead of out of 100, we can use the symbol. So we can write 28%. So now we can go ahead with example 4. We're going to start from the bottom. Even though it's not really completed, but if we move the 3 from the second to the bottom row to the bottom, we do get a completed row. So now that's 1, and we get the other one, which is 2. And then now we're going to go ahead and count the individual squares that are left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So now we're going to begin the process to write the fraction. Shaded over total. So we have 16 individual squares plus the 20 from the 2 rows, and which gives us 36 over the total, which is 100. Once again, we're going to use the definition of percentage, number of parts out of 100. And instead of writing number of parts, we write 36. Instead of out of 100, we can just write the percent sign. So my answer is 36%. Let's take a look at the last example. So in this particular example, we do not have any completed columns or rows. So we just got to count 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now we're going to start the process of the fraction, which is shaded over total. How many do we have shaded? Which is 4. And the total is 100. So in this time it is 4 out of 100. And we can, instead of out of 100, we can write the percent sign. Now you may be wondering why it's not 40%. Well, because 4 over 100 is 4 cents and not 40 cents. It's another way of thinking about it. Okay, so now it is your turn to go ahead and pause the video so you can answer these questions on your own time. I will show you the answers in 3, 2, and 1. Here are the answers. So if you got them correct, well done. If you didn't, there's always tomorrow.